4 times a year, all of Texas State puts on its Sunday best to host thousands of visitors, including last weekend.
The end of the school year is flying at us. We have some important tips on what comes next: finding a job.
That's not the only thing flying towards us as a new academic program gets off the ground.
Filmmakers might be making a lot more movies and TV shows here in Texas. We'll show you why.
And some customers are steamed after Starbucks puts a cap on their serving their favorite drinks. Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm RJ Smith.
I'm Ava Gibson. Thanks for joining us for Bobcat Update. Every couple of months, the university hosts a campus-wide open house for prospective students and their families.
They can tour dorms, eat in the dining areas, and learn about every major on campus. The last one of the year just happened Saturday. Reporter Samuel Lang tagged along.
Ever wonder how incoming students earn their Bobcat pride? Bobcat Day is an event hosted by Texas State to give freshmen an idea of what they can look forward to when fall classes roll around.
This Saturday, future Bobcats got the chance to explore everything Texas State has to offer, from financial resources to housing to academic programs and campus life.
Bobcat Day is a great way to get introduced to the campus, to get introduced to the different services that we have and can offer. It's a great way to just kind of explain what majors we have and what programs there are, just what we can offer to students and kind of get them excited about Texas State and kind of help be the deciding factor in getting them to come to Texas State.
Visitors also mingled with faculty, staff, and student leaders for an inside look at life as a Bobcat.
Yeah, so I'm a tour guide for the university. I've been doing this for about 2 years now, giving tours to families and prospective students coming to Texas State. But at Bobcat Day, I'm really just giving tours. We're sanctioned off at a little stop. Yeah, so I think for this Bobcat Day, we had about 3,000 students register. And so it's been a pretty big turnout. So it's not just tours of campus, it's tours of residential homes. It's tours of different apartments. Everyone's out here and they can see everything all at once. So it's a convenient one-stop shop for people, especially people who want to be able to come during the week to visit Texas State. It's a good option for them too. Or people who are like seniors in high school who are about to come here and they're like, I want to look at my dorm one more time before I actually move in. It's a good option for them too.
For students still deciding on the future, Bobcat Day is the perfect way to get a feel for campus life and maybe find their new home.
This is the last event of the year, which reminds me, got a tour to catch.
With Bobcat Update, I'm Samuel Lang.
There's important news for students out of the Trump administration. Ever since the early days of the COVID pandemic 5 years ago, the Department of Education stopped collecting on student loans that were in default. That meant if someone was making late payments on their student loans, it didn't get sent to a collection agency. That will change next week. The department announced that starting on May 5th, if a loan is late, it will be sent for collections. That means people could have loan payments taken directly out of their paychecks, and it could hurt their credit rating. This only affects older loans which borrowers haven't kept up with. If you're gonna pay your loans, you're gonna need to get a job.
Reporter Ashley Waters talked with some experts about that this week. She's here with us to share some best practices. Ashley?
Thanks, RJ and Ava. I talked with professors and students about hunting for work after graduation. It's a scary thought, but there are some steps you can take to improve your chances.
With graduation just around the corner, Texas State seniors are feeling the pressure of job offers in a competitive market. Career Services are offering resources to help students navigate their way post-grad life.
As the spring semester wraps up, thousands of Bobcats are preparing to walk the stage. But what comes after that moment can feel uncertain.
Honestly, I'm just going to kind of wing it. I'm going to apply to as many places as I can, for sure, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep my day job.
That feeling is more common than you might think. Many seniors are still navigating their next steps, whether it's entering the workforce, going to grad school, or simply figuring things out one day at a time.
The plan right now is currently unemployed. I'm applying places, just haven't really heard much back.
Texas State's Career Service is working to support students through that process, before and after they cross the stage.
Once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. So our services do not go away, even after students graduate. So as they're getting ready to graduate, obviously we would love to visit with them while they're still here and kind of wrapping up the semester side of it. But it is nice to know, even after graduation, we still work with students. So
From resume building and mock interviews to networking events and job fairs, Career Services is focused on preparing Bobcats for life beyond campus. For students pursuing competitive fields like media and communications, the pressure to find work right away can feel intense.
And it can be stressful, it can be difficult. You've got parents and relatives saying, when are you going to get a job? When are you going to get a job? When are you going to move out? All that stuff. But it's really about being patient. And it's also, again, goes back to the idea of casting a wide net. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas. Don't limit yourself just to Texas. Take that step where you're saying, I'm going to apply to jobs all over the country. And the beautiful thing about journalism is there are so many entry-level jobs.
Whether students have a plan or are still piecing it together, Texas State faculty and staff encourage them to take a deep breath. And remember, they are not alone. For Bobcat Update, I'm Ashley Waters.
One of our digital media innovation professors said, be sure to personalize your cover letters and resume using keywords from jobs you want. That will help algorithms on tools like LinkedIn and Monster Zero in your application. And a tip from our TV news professor, don't wait for an online response. Make some phone calls, even visit places you want to hire you. That lets them know you really want to work there. Ava, back to you.
Great tips, Ashley. Thank you so much, and good luck on your job hunt.
Thank you.
Speaking of finding jobs, the Bureau of Labor Statistics expects almost 200,000 openings for the commercial pilots over the next 10 years. That seems like a big opportunity for a new training program, and Texas State flew right towards it. Sit back and relax and take in this story about a new aviation program for reporter Kay Knoll.
You can learn how to do a lot of things at Texas State. You can learn how to act, you can learn how to create art, how to write a book, and even how to make the news. One more thing you can learn how to do now, fly a plane. Last semester marked the first time students were able to sign up for a new concentration in aviation science, and today we look how students are going to the airfield and taking to the skies.
The new concentration is part of Texas State's Applied Arts and Sciences program, which is overseen by the Department of Organization, Workforce, and Leadership Studies, or OWLS. But the part everyone's making a hoot about is the fact that this new program is training people to become professional pilots. Out here at San Marcos Regional Airport, students are getting hands-on experience in the planes as part of their FAA-required regimen. The school is also partnered with a flight school, Coast Flight, to help the students get in the air as smoothly as possible. But clouds aren't the only classrooms for these future pilots. Program coordinators like Brett Bryan are giving students some extra learning on the ground to help fuel their engines.
That's one side of it. And then there's the academic side, because it's also a degree. Aerodynamics, flight physiology, flight safety, crew resource management, aviation weather. More broadened courses that give you a little bit more exposure to more in-depth info about those topics than just what you need in the cockpit.
There are other schools offering aviation programs in the United States. Some of them are dedicated schools that teach only aviation, but most of these are private schools. Texas State is offering the education on a state school tuition, and while it might not be required to have the degree, it helps pilots stand out and get in the air faster.
You don't need a college degree to get your pilot ratings. You just go do it. But the aviation degree gives them a lot of extra skill sets that make them a little more valuable to the airlines at a later date.
Brian told us that there's expected to be a lot of gaps to fill in the field fairly soon, as large amounts of pilots hit the FAA-mandated age cap of 65. Pilot shortages are cyclical, happening about every 15 to 20 years, he says, but the upcoming one may underline the need for public school aviation programs like the one at Texas State. In any case, if you see any planes flying near campus, just know that there's a chance it might be one of your peers. From San Marcos Regional Airport, I'm Kay Knoll for Bobcat Update.
We've been taking you to a number of protests this semester.
But the latest one at the state capitol wasn't like the others. It featured live music, picnics, kids, and pets.
Meanwhile, inside the Capitol, state senators were passing a bill that could bring a lot more filmmaking to Texas.
Every one of us has some days where we struggle to get up and down all the hills and stairs on this campus, but it can be especially difficult for some of our classmates.
And we'll show you what's gone and what's new on the Starbucks menu.
San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter's mission is to care for, protect, and find quality homes for abandoned and neglected animals. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter a shelter, and only 3 million of those animals are adopted each year. More than half of those animals are left in the shelter without a home. Save a life and adopt or foster today. Contact the San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter at 512-805-2650. San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter, protecting and saving the lives of the pets of San Marcos.
There's a different kind of protest at the state capitol last week. This was the local iteration of a national 50-51 protest, which called for demonstrations in all 50 states on one day. Hundreds of people gathered on the lawn outside the Capitol on Saturday, April 19th, for a picnic to protest the Trump administration. The event featured live music and political speakers, but it was much quieter than some of the recent protests and included kids and dogs. The Texas legislature already set aside a big chunk of money to support TV and film production in the Lone Star State. It was $200 million in the last legislative session 2 years ago.
But state senators just voted to more than double that, to $500 million every 2 years. It would still have to pass the Texas House and be signed by the governor, but we talked with some folks who work in the industry about what this would mean on big and small screens.
The Texas Senate has recently passed a bill that would more than double the amount of money that would be spent to bring more television and film production to the state of Texas. This bill would deposit $500 million into a new Texas film industry every 2 years up until 2035. We spoke with Texas State University film student Christina Berra about what her thoughts are about the bill and what this could mean for young filmmakers in Texas.
I think it could be a really good opportunity, especially for young filmmakers in Texas at the moment, because it's kind of a hard industry to get into, especially the arts. Texas isn't as arts focused as a lot of other, like Oregon or California. And so bringing that to the front would be one, good for our economy, because like, okay, we're getting people to come shoot in Texas and come create those bonds with industries here, because there isn't really one yet. It's like kind of on the cusp of becoming an industry, but not yet. And I think that money would be a good Kickstarter to start that.
The state of Texas, with Austin being the centerpiece, has been deemed by many within the industry to be the next Hollywood, with a major film studio coming to Central Texas in the near future.
I have a family friend who's a filmmaker in LA, and he said, don't come to LA. It's expensive as hell, and you have a Hollywood in your backyard. Like, Austin is booming right now. There's so many studios. There's one that's going to be opening up. They're building it in Buda, I think, Hill Country Studios.
While this will likely take many years to come into fruition, it will certainly create many new opportunities for filmmakers in Texas. For Bobcat Update, I'm Quint Nevitt.
Texas State has a beautiful campus carved out of the Texas Hill Country, but that means lots of hills and stairs. It can be tough enough for anyone to hike around here wearing a heavy backpack, but imagine if you have trouble getting around in the first place. Reporter Brandon Nuevo spoke with a disability services coordinator and a couple of students who have found some much-needed support.
Texas State at San Marcos campus is known for its hills and scenic views, but for students with mobility impairments, those same hills can create serious challenges for them traversing the campus. Texas State prides itself on being an inclusive campus, but for students with mobility impairments, navigating campus isn't always easy. From steep hills to limited accessible routes, many face daily barriers getting to class. At first glance, Texas State offers a beautiful elevated campus experience, but elevation can come with obstacles. The steep terrain of San Marcos combined with old infrastructure poses significant challenges for students with disabilities. While some buildings are ADA compliant, others remain difficult to access, although there are many elevators and ramps available, and the wheelchair accessible route can be long and tiring.
The main thing is I take the bus to get here, and then my two class buildings are on the opposite ends of where the bus sort of drops you off. And so the thing I struggle with the most is just walking there, taking the ramps instead of the stairs, because my knees don't like me. With the ramps, I have stamina issues, and the ramps basically double the amount of steps you have to take because they're so out of the way. And so I kind of have to pick my poison of like, do I want my knees to hurt, or do I want to be really tired? And usually I choose the ramps because it's better than the pain, but I would love if they were less like difficult to get to.
I think that it's not the Office of Disability Services that is the problem. I think it is the infrastructure around them. They do not have the proper funding. They do not have the proper jurisdiction. The communication between the departments is so incredibly flawed. So even though ODS might be like, we need help, we need to do this, this needs to be specifically done like this, some of the other departments don't get the message. And I think if we give them more like oomph power, if that makes sense, that would fix things a lot.
The university continues to work on improvements. Recent efforts include renovating older buildings and gathering student feedback to shape future projects. As the university works toward greater accessibility, some students say there is a long way to go.
Texas State is a place of opportunity, but until all mobility barriers are fully addressed, some students may find themselves being left behind. This is Bobcat Update. I'm Brandon Nuevo, and back to the studio.
Starbucks coffee first launched more than 50 years ago in Seattle. For the last 40 years, they've been known for serving espressos, different coffees, and my go-to is a vanilla cream cold brew.
The company recently announced the biggest change in its menu since it launched. About a third of the items you used to be able to order aren't there anymore, especially some sweet frappuccinos. They also added some new things.
Some of our classmates stopped by a Starbucks to see if customers were viewing the menu change as a short problem or a venti one.
Heartbreak is brewing across the nation as Starbucks suddenly discontinues some of its most beloved menu items, leaving fans shaken, stirred, and let's be honest, a little steamed. As of March 4th, Starbucks officially pulled 13 drinks from its menu. This change is a part of the company's plan to streamline operations and focus on its most popular core offerings. Among the fan favorites no longer on the menu, the Java Chip Frappuccino, the Iced Matcha Lemonade, and the Honey Almond Milk Flat White, just to name a few. But while change can be good, for many loyal fans, it feels like the end of an era.
I'll get through it. They'll come out with another flavor. Most likely I'll probably switch over to that. They'll bring it back, right? Like, oh, special time release. And then you gotta go back, for a week or so, probably double the price and stuff. I'm gonna be a sucker about it, but yeah, I'm gonna miss it though. Yeah, hopefully, in the distant future I can tell my son about this amazing drink. But it's kind of sad. Yeah.
And it's not just customers feeling the impact, employees are adjusting too.
It's frustrating because we get excited about these new items and this just shows how quickly they're able to take it away for our customers. Customers are frustrated and we have to tell them their favorite drinks are no longer available on our menu.
While some classics may be gone, Starbucks reassures customers that they can still enjoy familiar flavors by customizing drinks, whether it's adding syrup, swapping milks, or mixing up the bases to create something close to the originals. Starbucks has hinted that even more menu tweaks could be brewing later this year as they continue to focus on efficiency and innovation. For now, fans will have to toast to memories or get crafty with their orders as Starbucks stirs things up for a new chapter. This has been Philip Brinkman with Bobcat Update.
That's all we have for this edition of Bobcat Update. It's our last episode of the school year.
That's why we're joined by all the seniors who are graduating from our program, including RJ, Ashley, and everyone else behind us. Congratulations, and thanks for watching Bobcat Update! Woo!